Welcome to episode 1 of my Dive Dry road trip. I am currently in Washington. I have my dry suit and I recently did my dry suit training. So I want to talk to you guys about scuba diving specialties. Vámonos. My name is Sarah and I'm taking you on a dive trip around the western United States. After working as a scuba instructor in the tropics for the last 6 years, COVID brought me back to the States to chase the van life dream. On this trip, I'm learning how to dive in a dry suit while sharing my adventures with you. Okay, don't worry. I just put the dry suit out to get a couple of shots. It's been in the sun for all of like 3 minutes, so it's going back into the cave. Things are constantly falling in here. I can barely keep up. Oh boy, that's bright. And it's actually getting quite hot in here. I would describe my relationship with specialties as it's complicated. There are some that are absolute must-haves if you want to do certain types of diving, while others can be kind of a waste of money and a waste of plastic in the form of the certification card. That being said, I'm not here to hate on people who love collecting certifications. It's super fun to be a student, so if you have the monetary means to take specialties and support your local scuba instructors, like, by all means. That's awesome. Let's get into it. The one specialty that every single diver should have is nitrox. Nitrox is a useful tool for getting more no decompression time, and you absolutely will be asked to show proof of certification before someone gives you a tank of nitrox. Other specialties that are worth considering include cavern, deep, any distinctive specialty that's related to a specific animal that you want to learn about, especially if you have the opportunity to take the course from scientists or experts of that particular animal. Those are pretty fascinating. Emergency oxygen provider, gas blender, ice diving, side mount, and wreck. But remember, only take these courses from instructors who have extensive experience in that particular field. These are more complex courses, and if you're taking the course from an instructor who only met the bare minimum requirements to become an instructor of that specialty, you're not going to get very much out of the course. If you didn't already know, when a person becomes a scuba instructor, they can very easily become an instructor for a lot of the different specialties that are available. For the most part, they just need to show proof of experience in that particular field and pay the certifying organization. They may need to go through additional training with a course director or other instructor trainer, but I would say that a lot of instructors teaching specialties don't have a ton of experience within that specialty. So it's good to do your research. And I say that because I'm guilty of not taking my own advice. I recently did my dry suit training and I really didn't do any research into it at all. Did it with an instructor that I had never met. And although I learned some things and we had some good laughs, I really would have benefited more from taking a course with an instructor who's familiar with diving in side mount. Because my instructor had never gone diving in side mount, I ended up doing the course in single tank back mount, which is fine, but I can tell that after a day in the pool trying to get my side mount configuration and dry suit all sorted, it would have been really helpful to have a second pair of eyes for that, and just to know the little details and nuances of diving dry in side mount. Luckily, I have friends who have given me really good tips, like the obvious one of switching my inflator hose and my dump valve on my harness so that my dry suit connects to my left tank. Seems obvious, but I did not realize it straight away until I tried to go for a single tank swim around the pool and I was like, oh, I can't inflate my dry suit. That's kind of a problem. Anyway, I go into detail about my Nowie dry suit specialty course in my latest Patreon video. So if you want to learn more about that and just hear some funny stories about it, you can sign up at the link in the description below. Some divers will greatly benefit from taking the drysuit specialty. If you're still working on your buoyancy, then having that one-on-one connection with an instructor will really help you fine-tune things. There are other specialties that are interesting, but may not be necessary depending on your skill level, experience, and access to knowledgeable dive buddies. These can include altitude diving, DPV, equipment specialist, full face mask, search and recovery, self-reliant diver. I lump these three together: drift, night, and navigation. And I say that because these can be interesting for more beginner divers if they're taught correctly. Otherwise, for more experienced people, these three can definitely be on the following list. And finally, the last one on this interesting but maybe not necessary list, hear me out, is peak performance buoyancy. Loads of people say that this is a trash specialty, and I would agree in regards to the actual certification card, but the training behind it is actually really good. Like, the skills in the dives are very helpful. So I wouldn't necessarily sell the certification, but I may sell the diving experience, like one-on-one training with an instructor, to someone who just needs that extra time. Some people don't pick up the buoyancy very easily, and so they really need more coaching. Yes, you can get some help from dive guides when you go fun diving, but you're not going to get the help like you would with having an instructor with you, with the goal of working on buoyancy. That's my thought on it. I think they're cool dives. I like teaching the skills on those dives. And some instructors may say, oh, I include those skills in the PPB adventure dive as part of the advanced course. And I say to those instructors, you can, but technically they are part of the specialty course. And depending on the student, it might actually be beneficial for them to go a bit slower with the skills. The courses that are least interesting, helpful, or even all the needed information is just a simple Google search away: boat, computer, fish ID, multi-level, shore, hunter, and underwater photography. Why is that last one on this list? Because you can find basic photography information on the internet, and the majority of instructors who are qualified to teach this course don't actually have real underwater photography skills. Like, they may know how to use a GoPro, but that's about it. If you're interested in underwater photography or videography, you go through YouTube Academy, learn some things, and then eventually, when you want to step up your game, go on an underwater photography retreat. Those exist, and you spend time with real photographers who do this for a living. Is it more expensive? Absolutely. Are you going to actually get something out of it? Definitely. So that's my list. I want to hear what you think are useful specialties. Was there one that you really enjoyed and you highly recommend to everyone? Tell me all about it in the comments below. All right, you know what to do. Like this video, leave your questions in the comments below, and subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos. If you want to get more from the Azul scuba community, you can find the link to my Patreon in the description below, and you can join in on all the fun behind the scenes of this silly dive dry road trip. Okay, love you, bye! Ooh. Silicone seals. Very exciting. Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh dear God. Okay. Whoa! Where are you going? I feel like I always have to have a piece of emotional support scuba equipment for these videos now, ever since the last one.